Now, just one mistake in the Quran destroys entire Islam and proves that Muhammad is a false prophet. Let us investigate chapter 16 of the Quran, Surah An-Nahl, which is the chapter of bees. In this chapter, we can show you at least two mistakes, not one but two. We know that bees collect nectar and pollen to produce the final product, which is honey. Now, there are three types of bees. You have, of course, the queen, which is a female. The second type are the drones, who are male, and their only job is to impregnate the queen. And the third type are the worker bees, who are all females. They collect the nectar and pollen and take care of the hive. Now, to show you the first mistake, we can go to the Quran. The chapter of the Quran, chapter 16, An-Nahl or An-Nahli, is a plural genitive masculine noun. So according to the Quran, all bees are male drones. But wait a second, what about the queen and the worker bees, who are both female? The Quran, or let's say the writer of the Quran, has no idea. So here we found a huge mistake. To show you mistake number two, if we go to the Quran, we can read the following. يخرج من بطونها شرابا. Translation: then comes there forth out of their bellies a drink. To understand what this drink is, we can go to the tafsir of Ibn Kathir for the same chapter, ayah 68-69. We can read what this drink is. There comes forth from their bellies a drink of varying colors, wherein is healing for men. So this drink is for men, meaning honey. To prove it even more for you, we can go to a second tafsir or commentary of Al-Jalalain for the same chapter, same ayah, ayah 69. There comes forth from their bellies a drink, namely honey. As you see, the Quran in chapter 16, ayah 69 claims that honey comes from the bellies of bees, who according to the Quran, An-Nahl, in this chapter, An-Nahl, are male drones, because the word is a genitive plural masculine noun. So the Quran actually is wrong and contains at least two mistakes here. Now, here's why we have a second mistake, because the $1 million question is honey made in the belly of bees, or does honey come forth from the bellies of bees? Let us investigate that.
How do bees make honey?
No idea.
To make honey, the worker honeybee sucks nectar from flowers and stores it in its honey stomach. Once the worker bee returns to the hive, it vomits the nectar into a processor honeybee's mouth.
Ew.
In the processor bee's mouth and stomach, an enzyme called invertase is added to the nectar. Invertase breaks some nectar into simple sugars like glucose and fructose. Then it vomits the partially converted nectar into another processor bee's mouth, who also adds more invertase, helping break down more nectar. This process goes on until most of the nectar is converted into simple sugars. Then, the mixture of simple sugars is stored in the honeycomb. At this point, the mixture is still watery. Hence, the bees flap their wings, which evaporates water and thickens the mixture to eventually form honey.
returned to the hive, the forager bee will vomit the nectar into the mouth of another worker, and that bee will vomit it into another bee's mouth, and so on. This game of regurgitation telephone is an important part of the honey making process, since each bee adds more digestive enzymes to turn long chains of complex sugars in the raw nectar into simple monosaccharides like fructose and glucose. Now at this point, the nectar is still pretty watery, so the bees beat their wings and create an air current inside the hive to evaporate and thicken the nectar, finally capping the cell with beeswax so the enzyme-rich bee barf can complete its transformation into honey.
Yet the Quran claims that honey comes forth or comes out of the bellies of bees in chapter 16, ayah 69, as you saw. So the final conclusion is Quran for the second time is false, and we can conclude that Muhammad is a false prophet. We know that Muhammad was accused over and over and over in the Quran of being a stealer of stories, asatir al-awwalin, stealing legend stories and poetry from people before him. Now, if you do some digging and go back to history, we find a name of a Greek scientist, Hippocrates, who lived 2,500 years ago, which is 1,000 years before Islam. This man, Hippocrates, claimed 2,500 years ago that bees make honey in their bellies. We know that Muhammad plagiarized this work of Hippocrates, and he was wrong like Hippocrates, and now we can find this same false claim, this mistake in the Quran. So as you see, Muhammad is nothing but a fake prophet, a scam, a stealer of false investigation. We know that Muhammad created Islam by plagiarizing stories and legend and fairy tales from here and there. Now Muslims, you really need to wake up and accept that Islam is a man-made cult. The Quran is a man-made book, and clearly Muhammad is a fake prophet, and there is nothing called Allah. Thank you for watching. Please share this video around on social media. Let everybody know that Islam is nothing but a man-made cult and Muhammad is a fake prophet. God bless.